హలో ఫ్రెండ్స్, యు ఆర్ ద ప్లాసిబో అనే పుస్తకంలో నుంచి ఈ విషయాలు మనం చదువుదాం. రియాలిటీ కెన్ బి ఏ బిట్ ఆఫ్ మూవింగ్ టార్గెట్. Literally, we are used to think of reality as something fixed and certain. But, as you will soon see in this chapter, the way we have always been taught to see it is not the way it really is. And if you are going to learn how to be your own placebo by using your mind to affect matter, it's it's a vital that you understand the true nature of reality, how mind and matter are related, and how reality can shift. Because if you don't know how and why those shift occurs, you won't able to direct any outcomes according to your intention. If you don't know how and why those shift occurs, you won't be able to direct any outcomes according to your intentions. Before we dive into the quantum universe, let us take a look at where our ideas about reality came from and where they have brought to us so far. Thanks to Rene Descartes and Sir Isaac Newton, for centuries the study of the universe was divided into two categories: matter and mind. The study of matter was declared the realm of science because, for most part, the laws of universe that governing the object outer world would be calculated and therefore predicated, but the inner claim of the mind was considered too unpredictable and complicated. So it was therefore left to the unauspicious of religion. So over time, matter and mind became the separate entities, and dualism was born. Newton physics deals with the mechanism of how objects function in the space and time, including their interactions with each other in the material physical world. Because Newton's laws, we can measure, predict what path planets take around the sun, how quickly an apple accelerates when it falls from a tree, how long it takes to go from the Seattle to New York by plane. Newton physics is about to predictable. It looks at the universe as if it functioned like enormous mechanism or huge at time pace. But classical physics has its limitation when it comes to the study of energy, the action of the immaterial world beyond space and time. The behavior of atoms, the realm belongs to the quantum physics, and it turns out that this very tiny subatomic world of electrons and photons does behave anything like the much larger world of planets, apples, and aeroplanes that we are more familiar with. When quantum physics began to look at the similar and smaller aspect of the atom, like what makes up the nucleus, the closer they look, the less distinct and clear atom become, until eventually it just completely disappear. Atoms, they tell us, appear to be 99.9999% empty space. But the space, it's not really empty, it's actually filled with energy. More specifically, it's made up of a vast array of energy, frequency, that form of a kind of invisible, interconnected field of information. So, if every atom is 99.999% of energy or information, that means that our known universe and everything in it, no matter how solid that matters may be appear to us, is essentially just energy and information. That's a scientific fact. Atoms do not contain a smattering of matter, but when the quantum physics tried to study it, they discovered something really strange. Subatomic matter in the quantum world does not behave anything at all like the matter we are used to dealing with it. Instead of adhering to law of Newton physics. So it appears somewhat chaotic and unpredictable, complexly disagreeing boundaryless of time, space. In fact, on the subatomic or quantum level, then it disappears. It exists only as a tendency, a probability, or a possibility. In the quantum, there are no absolute physical things. There are in the quantum there are no absolute physical things. That was not the only strange discovery that scientists made about the quantum universe. They also found that when they observed particles of subatomic matter, they could affect the change their behavior. The reason they are here and gone is that all these particles actually exist simultaneously in infinite array of possibilities, probabilities within the invisible and infinite quantum field of energy. It's only when an observer focuses attention on any location of any one electron, the electron actually appears in that place, look away, and the subatomic matter disappear back into energy. So, according to this observer effect, physical matter can't exist or manifest until we observe it. Ooh. So until we notice it, give it our attention, and when we are no longer paying attention to it, it vanishes, going back from whence it came. So matter is constantly transforming, oscillating between manifesting into matter and disappearing into energy. So, because the human mind is then intimately connected to the behavior and appearance of matter, you could say that mind over matter is a quantum reality. Another way to look at it is this: in the tiny world of quantum, the subjective mind has an effect on objective reality. Your mind can become matter. That is, you can make your mind matter. Since subatomic matter makes up everything we can see and touch, experience. Hi. See, today I am discussing about quantum field. It's a miracle. So whatever we are focusing, we can attract. ఏది మనం చూస్తామో అది ఆకర్షించేస్తాం. సో మీ బాగా డబ్బులు బాగా ఉన్నాయని చూసారనుకోండి, యూ కెన్ అట్రాక్ట్ మనీ. Since subatomic matter makes up everything we can see and touch, experience our macro world, then in the sense we along with everything in our world, also doing this disappear and reappearing act all time. And so subatomic particle exist in infinite number of possible places simultaneously. Then some way. So do we, just as the particle go from existing where the observer looks for them and moment observe paying attention, so capable of collapsing an infinite number of potential realities into physical existence. In other words, if you can imagine a particular future event that you want to experience in your life, that reality already exists as a possibility. So beyond this space and time, just waiting for you to observe it. If your mind can affect when where an electron appear to out now where, then theoretically you should able to influence appearance of any number of possibility you can imagine. From quantum perspective, if you observe yourself in a particular new future that was different from your past, expected the reality to occur, and then emotionally embrace the outcome, you would be a moment living in that future reality, and you would be conditioning your body to believe it was so it was in the future, in the present moment. So living in that future reality, and you had be conditioning your body to believe it was in that future in the present moment. అంటే మీ సో క్వాంటమ్ మోడల్ విచ్ సేడ్ దట్ ఆల్ పాసిబిలిటీస్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ ఇన్ దిస్ మూమెంట్. సో సరే, మీరు ఏది కావాలనుకుంటున్నారో అది మీరు ఇప్పటికే ఉంది అన్న ఫీలింగ్తో ఉండాలన్నమాట. సో మీరు ఐశ్వర్యవంతులు అని అనుకోవడం ఇప్పటికే ఉంది. సో క్వాంటమ్ మోడల్ విచ్ సేడ్ దట్ ఆల్ పాసిబిలిటీస్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ ఇన్ దిస్ మూమెంట్ గివ్స్ us permission to choose a new future and observe it into reality. And because the entity universe is made up of atoms, with more than 99% of an atom being energy or possibilities, that means that there is a lot of potential out that you and I might be missing. However, this also means that you create by default as well. If you as quantum observer look at your life from the same level of your mind every day, then according to the quantum model of reality, you are causing the infinite possibility of collapsing into the same pattern of information day in day out. Those patterns which you call your life never change, so they never allow to you affect the change. So mental rehearsal I talk about entirely in certain, not ideally daydreaming or wishful thinking. It is in a very real sense the way you can intentionally manifest your desired reality, including a life without pain or disease, by focusing more on what do you want and less on what do don't want. You can call into existence whatever you desire and simultaneously fade away what you don't want. So don't what you don't want, no longer giving it your attention. Where you place attention is where you place energy. Once you fix your attention or your awareness or your mind on possibility, you will place your energy there. Will as a result, you are affecting the matter with your attention or observer. The placebo effect is not fantasy, then it's a quantum reality. Energy on the quantum field. All atoms in the elementary model emit various electromagnetic energies. For example, an atom can give off invisible field of energy at different frequencies, that including X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolets, and infrared rays as well. So just a visible radio carry with a specific information encoded in it. Each different frequency likewise carries a specific diverse information. All these fields are different energy patterns that are always giving off information at the atomic level. Think of atoms, vibrating energy, a small victory that are constantly spinning. To better understanding how that works, let us use an analogy of fan. Just like a cycler creates a wind, radiate a field of energy in the smaller, so, and just like a fan can spin at different speeds, so create a stronger or weak wind. Atom also vibrate at different frequencies that create a stronger or weaker fields. The faster atom vibrates, the greater the energy and frequency it emits. The slower the speed of an atom vibrates, so the slower fan. And in quantum physics, matter is defined as a solid particle, and the immediately energetic field of information that can be defined as a wave. When we study the physical property for an atom like mass, atoms look like a physical matter. The slower frequency that an atom is vibrating, the more time it spends physical reality, and the more it appears as a particle. That one can see the solid matter. The reason physical matter appears solid as to us, even though it is a mostly energy, is that all atoms are vibrating at the same speed you see. But atoms also display many properties of energies or waves. The faster an atom vibrating and the more energy it generates, the less time it spends in physical reality. It's appearing and disappearing too fast for us to see, because it's vibrating much faster speed than we are. But even though we can't see the energy itself, we can sometimes, so even though we can't see the energy, we can sometimes see physical evidence of certain frequency. So because the force field of atom can create physical properties such as the infrared waves heating up. If you compare, you can see how the slower frequencies spend more in reality. So physical universe may look as made up of only material matter, but in truth it shares a field of information. So that unifies matter energy so immediately impossible consider them separate. That's because all particles are connected in immediately immaterial field of the information beyond space and time. That field is made up of consciousness and energy, the speed at which. So because each atom has own specific field of energy or energy signature. When an atom assemble electively to form a molecules, they share their field of information and they radiate their own unique combined energy patterns. If everything material in the universe radiate a specific unique energy signature because everything is made up of atom, then you and I radiate our own specific energy signature as well. You and I are always broadcasting information as electromagnetic energy based on our states of being. So, when you change your energy to alter a belief or perception about yourself, so or your life, you are actually increasing the frequency of the atoms and molecules of your physical body. So, you are amplifying your energy field. You are amplifying energy field. You are tuning the speed of atoms fans that makes your body. As you embrace heightened emotional creative states like inspiration, empowerment, gratitude, or invincibility, you are causing your atoms to spin faster. Just like the fan fades to broadcast a stronger energy field around your body, which affects your physical matter. So, physical particles that make up your body are now responding to an elevated energy. You are becoming more energy and less matter. You are now more wave and less particle. Using your conscious, you are creating more energy so that matter can be lifted in new frequency. Your body respond to new mind. So receiving the right energetic signal. So now how does matter become lifted to a new mind? Think of a preacher who moves into the state of religious asceticism or drinks a styrene with no biological effect. How did they overcome the chemistry that would normally poison the average person? It was his level of energy that transcended the effect of matter. He made a decision with such a frame intention that is a choice carried an amplitude of energy transcend into the loss of environment and effect on the body. And the linear time in that moment he was more energy and less matter. And as a result it was a new energy, and he wrote a circuit brain chemistry in his body in his genetic expression in that present moment. He was not his identity but connected to the familiar environment, nor was he his physical body, nor was he believing in the near time. His elevated conscious and energy were a phenomenon of matter. In the other words, it's not both information and frequency that gives rise to the blueprint of matter. When we are demonstrating an elevated emotion level of awareness, these elements that influence matter because matter is created from lowering of frequency and information. So it's entirely possible that preachers cell receptor sites were selectively open for the sericine. The cell dose were close to poison, so were suspended from its effect by being moved by the spirit. That is moved by the energy. He instantly regulate the cell in his body for immunity and down regulated the cell in the body. The same thing is at work with the fireworkers. Once they end their state of being, their cell receptors are no longer open to affect heat. This is also what the lower the teenage girls to lift 3,000 pound character to free their this is also their father, as you read about chapter 1. When they saw their father trapped and almost certain to die, their heightened state of energy turned off the cell receptor. So would tell their bodies character was too heavy to lift and turn on the muscle receptor to bear greater load. So when they tried, their muscles respond and they were able to feel they died. Matter was moving matter, so it was energy that influenced the matter. You had to agree with me that your body is made up of a vast array of atoms and molecules, and that these atoms and molecules are from chemicals. Those chemicals organize into cells, which form tissues that further organize into organs, which creates various systems within our body. For example, a muscle cell is made up of different chemicals, so which are made up of different interactions of molecules, which are made up of various atomic bonds. Those atoms share the invisible field of information to form molecules. The chemicals that makes up a cell also share a field of information, that is the invisible field of information that architectures and hundreds of thousands of functions of cell at any given second. Scientists are being to realize that a field of information exists that's responsible for married cellular functions exist beyond boundaries of matter. It is the invisible field of consciousness that architecture all the functions of the cell, tissues, organs, and systems of the body. How do certain chemicals and molecules of your cell know what to do? Interact with such a precision. There is an energetic field surrounding cells that is a summation of energy from atoms, molecules, and chemicals working together in balance that gives birth to matter. It is that vital field of information and that matter draws from. For instance, the muscle cells in the previous example can further organize and specialize into tissue called muscle tissues. Let us say that particular type of muscle tissues, and in this example it is called cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscle tissues form an organ called heart. The tissue which are made up of cells share a field of information that allow the heart to function in the coherent manner. The heart is a part of cardiovascular system of entire body. As it shares the field of information, it organizes the matter into function in the harmonic, holistic way. So, field that is created that gives birth to matter. It's what control the matter. The greater the field, faster atoms vibrate. The faster use harmonic frame spin. So Newtonian model of biology is based on the linear event in this mechanical reaction occur in the sequence of steps.